Another Bellarmine Knights wrestling show here with WJHI. We're always excited to have Coach Shuck stop in the studio here at Jeffersonville High School. We just had a meet called the Turkey Tussle here at Jeffersonville. We wrestled Columbus North and Corden. We won them both. And then in about 3 weeks, we'll have a tournament, 24 teams here, called we call it Violent Night this year. I change it to a different movie theme every year. But what I noticed we're going to talk about today, that's my transition, is we're going to talk about the Santa Slam Camp coming December 18th. You just had the Turkey Takedown Camp. Yep. We're going to ask about that. But what I'm excited about is Wednesday night I'm taking a few of my kids, and hopefully more join in to go to the Lindenwood versus Bellarmine dual meet at Knights Hall Wednesday night, 7 p.m. What do you have to tell us about that?
Yeah, really excited about our home opener. It's been a while since we've been able to be at home wrestling a duel, so since February last year. So all of our freshmen are fired up about it, our returners are fired up about it, so we're looking forward to putting on a show. It's the first year we've been able to do season ticket sales too, so excited to get the stands a little bit closer, surround the mat a little bit, so we'll have some chairs on the side of the mat to kind of surround it, but then the season ticket sales, the bleachers will be pulled out, which is different from last year, which we had those pushed in for COVID. So excited to put on a great show for all of our fans, and like you said, all of our high school youth and middle school clubs that want to be there. That like you said, they can come along with you guys and be a part of it as well.
Yeah, I know if somebody's watching this, coach from another school, we submitted our roster via email to the athletic department. Write me, I'll give you that email. We submitted our high school email. They're free. The high school kids are free, right?
That's right.
The middle school kids are free. Adults are $8, which if you go around the country, that's a deal to have kids free and adults just paying something. Silly question, I feel like I've asked you before. My kids raised their hand and said, this doesn't start till 7. Do we have concessions? Do you have concession stand?
We got concessions, yeah. Last year our home opener was a little bit of a surprise, I think. We had 700-800 people there for our duel against SIUE. And so we ran out of concessions pretty quick. So this time they're going to be prepared up. So you get your candy, you get your popcorn, your drinks, your hot foods, your hot dogs, burgers, that type of stuff. So yeah, that's we'll speak right to a kid's heart, which is in their belly. So they'll be ready there for them for food.
That's my nephews even asked the same thing. My sister-in-law, and she called to remind me there's a home duel meet. Taking the kids, you're taking your nephews to it. Yep. So excited to have them. Talking about the kids, you just had the Turkey Takedown Camp last week.
That's right.
Thanksgiving weekend or the weekend prior?
Yeah, so just after, so the Sunday after Thanksgiving here, we had the Turkey Takedown Camp. It was awesome. We had about 50 kids there.
Oh, wow.
So it had great turnout, and we had a blast with them. So we worked mainly on just takedowns and stuff from the neutral position, but it was really cool to see, anybody from, we had some real young kids, some 5-6-year-olds all the way to some high school kids that were some pretty elite guys. So we really had a good time this last weekend.
That's awesome. So then you're going to follow that up with the Santa Slam Camp, December 18th. That's a Sunday.
December 18th, another Sunday for us. Yep. So we run our youth and high school club stuff as well out of the same room, our wrestling room there. We do Sunday, Tuesday and Thursday nights, but on those Sundays we'll run that camp during that time, and hopefully get a bunch of people back for the Santa Slam Camp on December 18th.
Now you have 2 kids?
Yep, I have 2 of my own. Yep.
Do yours attend these camps?
Oh yeah, yep. They're, before it was like, I'm going to bring them because, I'll give mom a little bit of a break, but now they're loving wrestling, and it's really fun for me to get them at camp because they're having a good time with it, and they're competing more now, and they can't wait to get back on the mat every chance they get.
How do you do? Do you coach them? Do you put somebody else, like take my kids?
Yeah, typically, they wrestle on a couple, different teams. So we have my oldest is in a middle school now. So when he wrestles on his middle school team, I really like his middle school coaches to coach him and me to step back and be a parent. So it's kind of fun that way. And he knows he can always come to me if he has questions, and I can give him some feedback if he's ready for it. But ultimately, he might wrestle for a couple different clubs. Our Knights RTC. Wrestling club for individual tournaments, but if anything to do with the middle school team, he'll wrestle with his middle school team.
That's awesome. And his middle school team, I believe, feeds North or
South Oldham
South
right now.
Oldham.
Yep. So my wife teaches at South Oldham too, and
Yeah.
they're right there on the same campus.
That's awesome. But Santa Slam camp's coming. I think we talked about that. When you have kids come to these camps, though, like, what's the philosophy of the camp? What do you hope they take away? Is it just moves? Is it mentality? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I think first and foremost it starts out with helping develop a love for the sport. You know, so when we're showing moves, when you know my college athletes are working with the wrestlers, and the rest of my staff are working with the wrestlers, no matter what level, like being able to show our love and passion for the sport to help encourage them. Hey, this is a really cool sport to be involved in. It's not always about the grind and getting socked in the nose and all that. Like, it can be really fun and it can be really challenging, and so we really want them to walk away from our camp experiences feeling like, man, that was really cool. Like, I can't wait to come back, right? And that's what we want every kid when they leave our camp, or really any camp. You know, we want a kid walking away from camp or youth practice and saying, man, I can't wait to be back there. You know, and so with that you learn some moves, right? Because you don't want to just, it's not all fun and games, right? But so you're teaching them moves, but you're also teaching them a mentality behind it. So I'll throw in a couple wrestling jokes in here and that. You know, my last name happens to be a pretty common wrestling move, so I can tell them a story about how my grandpa created that move. But we have fun with it and teach them some stuff, and we want them walking away that they can take their wrestling as far as they want to take it. Right? If they want to be just a starter on their their middle school team, their high school team someday. They want to be a state champ. They want to be a national champ. They want to wrestle Division I. They want to wrestle Division III. Whatever it is they want to do, our camp is going to teach them the skill sets. It's going to allow them to continue to progress towards that goal they have. But most important, that goal is develop a love and passion for wrestling.
Yeah, it's funny. I think we've been coaching a similar amount of time, and I remember my first years, I wouldn't teach certain moves because I thought, like, oh no, a headlock, they'll do it forever. And now I'm like, that's fine if they like wrestling because they like a headlock. Show it first. And, just the way I see wrestling now. We've even been saying, I don't know how it came out of my head the other day. I think a kid was thinking about quitting, and he said, what do I get out of this? I don't get paid, all that. And I said, you get a resilience to adversity. And I was like, man, that's a really, really good, I don't know. I just wanted to throw that in there. Resilience to adversity is lately what I think of wrestling. Yeah. When I'm transitioning, my kids have finals coming up. My kids have Christmas break coming up. So I kind of know what high school looks like with that. What do you guys look like that? How do you transition into January? Kind of what's coming up in the next month and really 2 weeks for you guys?
Yeah, so we were in the same kind of schedule. We'll finish up our home duel here, and then we'll kind of have a day off and then get back into training for a couple of days. But once finals week kicks in, it looks a little bit different for our training. We don't typically go our same normal practice times where we're structuring every workout. It tends to be a little bit, I would say, less structured in terms of we don't have the whole team all together at the same time nearly as much to run the workout. So we're doing a little bit more individualized stuff during that finals week. So it's nice time for us to kind of reflect so far on the progress and the growth that we've had, and then to try to make those adjustments going into our next duel after that is against App State. So we'll get geared up, ready to wrestle them on the 20th. But it's a lot different in terms of just the structure of the workout. So they're going to be smaller group settings. I'll be in the restroom probably more during finals week than normal, just because of this is the schedule. We want to allow the guys to be able to focus on their test, be able to finish really strong, and not have to not have to miss the test or not have to miss practice because of how the schedules conflict or something like that.
What's your first meet post-Christmas?
So post-Christmas, we go to the Salute to Soldiers event, which is back in my own stomping grounds in college in Coralville, Iowa. So University of Iowa is kind of the host of that, but the Air Force and some other armed services, West Point will be there. Actually, I'm not sure if Air Force is going to be. I know West Point's going to be there. The Citadel, VMI, some of those service schools will be there. But I think it's just a great event to showcase and honor all of our servicemen and women, and then at the same time have some great wrestling. We'll see a lot of really high level competition there. All the Iowa schools will be represented at multiple levels, not just the Division I level. And yeah, it should be good. That'll be the 29th and 30th of December.
So 21 years ago, I was my first year coaching here, and we in the match to go to state finals, we wrestled one of my previous wrestlers, and I got the team together, and I said the wrong school's name. I don't know that I should tell that on television. When you go wrestle West Point, because that was Coach's last school, is that going to feel different for you? Like, because if you're at Bellarmine for the next 20 years, eventually you won't have a previous school. Nobody will be a former wrestler. They'll all be your wrestlers. What's that going to be like? What do you think it's going to be like?
It's exciting for me. I had a great experience at West Point, and I loved all the guys that were there, and was able to develop some really strong relationships with all the wrestlers, the staff there. There's some new staff members there now, obviously, so I don't really know those guys nearly as well, but Coach Ward and crew has always been good to me, and so I'm looking forward to seeing those guys and seeing a bunch of the guys on the team wrestle again, and looking forward to I enjoy that challenge. It's a little weird, I'll be honest. A little weird. I got to experience that one of the weekends already. We already wrestled one of my former athletes. That was a little bit tough, just initially thinking about that, but tough in this fact it's like, man, I love both of these dudes. Out here, spent an enormous amount of time with both of them, but it's not hard for me to be like, well, this is my guy. This is my guy right now, So in that situation, you coach your guy up and have fun with it, and look forward to shaking their hand after the match, after a good battle. Yeah,
you build that resilience to adversity again.
That's right.
Well, we don't want to keep you too long on here. What do you got coming up that you might see somebody can mark on their calendar in the near future? Anything to mention?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is people being aware of the season ticket sales. Again, that's a great way for us to really support our program. So we got our duel on the 30th here at 7 o'clock. We're really excited about that. And then our next event will probably be at home anyway. Will be the 18th for that Santa Slam camp. It'll be a Sunday from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And pay attention to the social media outlets, the Instagram stuff and that, and you can see a little bit more of what's going on in the practice room and train on that side of things. But overall, would love to have more kids experience and get more opportunities with them in our youth club. So if people are looking for a spot on Sunday or Tuesday or Thursday nights, they can sign up for our youth club on nightsrtc.com and get signed up for some nights or drop in. If you want to drop in, you get a drop-in fee for that as well.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming. I want to plug, we got home wrestling here this weekend on Friday and Saturday. Got 8 teams coming in, JV, varsity, and girls wrestling, all here on 6 mats. And then our Jeff Classic will have 24 men's and women's teams coming in on December 17th. I want to thank Coach Shuck for coming in. I'm excited to go watch you guys on Wednesday night. And if you, I'm sure it'll be tweeted out if you can't make it to the meet. Coach Stewart of Jeff High will be announcing the Bellarmine Knights on Wednesday night online, on television, wherever you want to watch it. Thank you, Coach Shuck.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.